In tonight's Big Story Breakdown, we're looking at standardized testing. State Superintendent Ryan Walters announcing today he is ending state testing in math and English for 3rd through 8th graders.
Fox 25's Paige Taylor explains what districts will use instead and why some argue standardized tests do not accurately measure learning and growth.
It's the end of traditional statewide testing as we know it, according to State Superintendent Ryan Walters. On Friday morning, he announced the end of mandated state testing in math and English for 3rd through 8th graders. Instead, Walters says districts will be able to use approved benchmark assessments. Walters says the decision comes after 81% of the nearly 23,000 parents surveyed expressed that state testing is not necessary for evaluating student learning.
We're excited to be the first state to say, listen, here's the reality. We don't want the federal government, we don't want the teachers unions telling you that your kids have to take all of these tests at the end of the year, and parents, you got to wait on the results.
Oklahoma Secretary of Education Nellie Taylor Sanders saying standardized tests have long been criticized in the education system, adding in part, quote, while we can all agree that the status quo isn't working, tossing out tests without thinking through next steps can be short-sighted. There are questions, though, on whether Superintendent Walters has the authority to throw out the tests or if the legislature has to approve his plan. House Education Oversight Chairman Representative Del Curbs released a statement saying in part, quote, we look forward to continued collaboration with Superintendent Walters and school districts so that any proposed changes to student testing align with state law and provides clear, actionable information on student college and career readiness, end quote. State Senator Mark Mann is on the Senate Education Committee and says Walters does not have the authority to throw out the tests on his own.
In order to change our testing program, and it's clear in state law, it has to be done and voted on by the State Board of Education. There are some other things laid out in state law that are going to need to be tweaked in order to make this legal.
And while Senator Mann says he applauds the idea,
I think to try to implement it a week and a half before school starts is a bit reckless. I think to do this right, it's going to be something that we have to work through the next several months and probably change some state laws in order to implement it properly and without disruption next school year.
Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
Now, there are 2 types of assessments within the Oklahoma school testing program, which students take for grades 3rd through 8th and 11th. All assessments are aligned to the Oklahoma academic standards. We have overview on what testing looks like in our state. From 3rd to 8th grade, all students take a math and an ELA test. Meanwhile, 5th and 8th graders take a science test as well. For 11th graders, they take math, ELA, science, and history assessments. This past school year, online and paper testing began April 15th. Now, the last time our test scores were posted was for the 23-24 school year. We got a full breakdown on how our students performed. According to the state report card, it revealed 43% of students made at least a proficient score in English, a 26% increase from the year before. Meanwhile, math proficiency jumped from 26% to 32%, and 31% of students were proficient in science. 33% of English language learners met or exceeded growth targets. Overall, the report showed the state grade itself at a C, the same as the year before for academic achievement and growth.
But how does Oklahoma rank on a national level? According to the nation's report card, Oklahoma continues to lag behind the national average in reading and math scores. The National Assessment of Educational Progress tests 4th and 8th graders in reading and math every 2 years in each state. The latest results found only 23% of 4th graders in Oklahoma performed at proficient level in reading, while 20% of 8th graders were proficient. When it came to math, the report found 31% of 4th graders and 17% of 8th graders were proficient. Standardized test results are just now coming in from the State Department of Education from when students tested back in spring. Back in June, the department said preliminary scores would be delayed and were originally scheduled to be available to parents on June 10th. This 2-month delay came after the Commission for Educational Quality and Accountability voted to reset the standard needed for students to record proficient scores on the tests, a concept known as reducing cut scores. Oklahoma not the only state to lower cut scores. According to a report, several other states like Wisconsin, Alaska, and New York have started lowering cut scores in reading and math over the past few years. While Illinois and Colorado are considering doing the same, researchers say changing standards and proficiency targets could offer a more accurate reflection of what students know. States started doing it after the pandemic amid large chunks of learning loss from students.
The NEA, a teachers union, has been an avid supporter of eliminating standardized testing, saying it's failing students. According to the union, they say these tests are inaccurate, inequitable, and often ineffective at gauging what students actually know. They say students may have the knowledge on certain subjects, but may not be able to show what they know and understand on these tests. They say a performance-based assessment is more effective by allowing students to demonstrate knowledge and skill through critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration. However, some educators say there are some benefits when it comes to taking these tests. A recent survey done by Education Advance found these tests can help demonstrate a student progress throughout the years, help highlight achievement gaps between student groups, as well as offer valuable data for researchers and policymakers to use to help analyze educational trends and outcomes.
The new school year starts amid a sobering ranking. Oklahoma school systems ranking 50th in the nation. That's from a new Wallet Hub study. I sit down with the state superintendent to get answers and find out what he's doing to change course for our kids. Walters points to several new initiatives already working to turn things around, including high dosage tutoring programs, merit pay for around 1,000 teachers, and evidence-based summer learning to help get kids caught up. Been superintendent for a few years. How did we get here? What went wrong?
This is part of why I was elected, is we got to turn this education system around. For far too long, what we had were teachers unions that boxed parents out of control. We had administrators that were run amok, pushing woke indoctrination and not a focus on the basics.
It sounds like you're blaming really a political reason for how we got here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, the teachers unions wrecked our school system, period.
Walters also believes his new social studies standards this year will make a huge difference for our kids in the classroom, but that curriculum has drawn controversy and several legal challenges. And that was your big story breakdown tonight. You can learn more about State Superintendent Ryan Walters' announcement on ending that statewide testing on OKCFox.com.
Plus, you can watch all of our previous big story breakdowns on our YouTube page. Just scan the QR code on your screen or search OKC Fox.